All right, we're ready to get started on this new grapevine trellis that I'm going to be rebuilding from the old one. So let's get started. This is actually going to take place over the course of several days because we have this one day that's semi-warm, and then we've got a cold spell this next coming week. Then I'll resume whenever I'm able to finish, when the weather, when the weather allows me to. So let's get started. I know I look like a bum, but that's all right because it's all about getting the job done. Good. Yep. Let me measure the height though. So that's 4 feet 2 inches. That will give me, well, when I fill it in with concrete on the base, it's going to make it 4 feet from the ground, which is what I want. Okay. Should feel snug. And leveled out enough with the post that's already up, but I'll be moving those around too, so. And I want to comb down to this height, so it would be a straight height all the way down with some fence wire nailed to them to I need to take it over this way just a little bit to hold the grapes on. So I want to water this in gently sprinkle some water over it. Come out here every couple of hours, sprinkle a little bit more water on it at a time, and that'll be it for setting that one little post. We'll continue on another day. Before quitting, I decided while I've got time, I'm gonna go ahead. This post right here, this is the one that's leaning. A youngin' from one of the neighbors' houses came and was hanging on it, the wire right here, and it ripped it up from the ground. So I'm just going to disconnect the wire, since I'm going to do new trellis system for the grapes, which is going to be this right here. So that's going to be strung all the way across for the grapes to grow on and attach to. And I'll cut these posts down to 4 feet from the ground so they're all even and it looks nicer. So let's get started clipping these loose. And I'm thinking maybe if I can just push it back, throw some rocks down on this side to prop it up, and then pour some concrete down here to make it more straight. And then we can come back later in the spring and cut it to the 4 feet height. This is the grapevine. So I need to push it up. Ooh, look at that, how easy that is. So 4 feet from that is right here where this line is. So I would have to go that much deeper to get that secured better in the ground. Let's see what we can do. I don't want to damage the roots of this grape though, so I have to be very careful. I ended up just cutting this top off and cutting that bottom chunk right there off, and I still got a pretty good amount of space to concrete this in and set that post much quicker. That is perfect. Quit, guys. That look much better already. There's the other one down there. There's our line. So we'll tie this grapevine up to this post and water it in. not really worried about the aesthetics of this. It's just, I need it to do what I need it to do. I can't go any further right now until that and that down there, the concrete has completely hardened. Once that hardens, then I'll come in and chop this off. I'm just going to leave it where it's at, chop this one and that one off at the 4 foot level, so all the posts are 4 feet. About a week has passed and it's warmed up enough today that I can come back out here and start working. I have so much stuff that I need to get done. I've got to get the fruit trees trimmed today and get this grapevine trellis finished. I've got the saw and cord out here ready to cut these 2 posts, this one and that one, down the same height as this one and this one, so I can put the fence on there and start tying the grapevines to the trellis. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already pre-marked this so I know where to cut. That's how you do it. Lord. So what I think I'm going to do is, before I do anything else to this, I'm going to go ahead and put that panel, start it down at this end and start running it over and start attaching this grapevine to the fence. That way when I cut this off, it doesn't jerk anything and break anything. We want this high enough so that I can weed eat underneath. All right, take 2. Got her screws in her screwdriver. Much better. That's how you do it. Okay. fence is on for the most part, so now I'm going to go through here and start tying the grapevines to this trellis and get an idea of what they're going to look like this growing season. So we're going to figure out how to do this. That. All right, that one's done. Let's take a look at this. So I've got one lower and one on the high end. It looks kind of awkward right now with that looking like that, but also this year, these buds down here can grow up there and there and there. Can grow more lower vines for next year, and then I can maybe top this off, you know, here or something. So it will keep it more low to the ground. So now we're going to go over here and figure out what to do here. All right, so I need to get rid of some of this vine here on this grape because there's too many vines and it will make the quality of the fruit go down. So I need to pick which one I want to cut out, which one I want to keep, and then we're going to saw off the top of this post. This one. Okay, that was actually painful to do because that was pretty big fruiting hurricanes or cordons. But I have this one and this one. I'll finish tying this up, and that will be the fruiting cane. I might even be able to bring that down just a tad bit once I get this cut off. So let's get that done. These are going to look awkward as heck this year, but that's okay. We'll get them trained to the lower trellis system. We'll get it. Let's get the cutting. So much better. So much better. Let's tie this. Keep this out because I do need to cut the peach tree over there in a minute. This is the finished trellis. We have vines going there and there, lower. That is the cane one on that side. And then we have the spur pruned one with a vine going along the top. Going along that top. I'll come in later and maybe zip tie it, but it will grow those little twirly things to grasp onto that trellis. And then we have this one, the awkward one that's tied. Okay, this will be filled out pretty good this summer. So through the magic of television, this is what I did. I had these 3 panels as an arch trellis going down. So right now I just staked them, I took them down and I staked them where I want these grapevine trellises to be. They're not going to stay on these stakes. I'm going to later on, maybe this week or within the next week or two, when there's good weather, I can dig holes at the ends and concrete down some posts, bring those up off the ground a little bit. And if I have cane varieties, I might be able to get 2 canes per each one and let 2 shorter limbs go out on each side. If I did that, that would be 6 of them on these 3 trellises. If not, if I have the spur prune variety, I might just have to put one in the center of each one and just let an arm go each way. So it's either going to be 6 on here or 3 if it's spur prune. So I'll look at the varieties I have left to figure out which ones are going to go here. And I'll leave plenty of space in between those rows too to be able to mow in between those. And now this is where the old trellis was, right through here. Now there's more space for this cherry tree. I can prune the top out of that and let it spread more wide and low. So I'll end up probably chopping this center off so it has an open vase here. And that's how we'll prune that. So moving along, we've got this peach tree right here. I'm going to center it. All right, let's get this started. And whenever I cut those big limbs, I've got this pruning seal that I'm going to spray on that to hopefully not keep it preserved so no diseases can maybe get in that peach tree. So let's get this done. Came loose here. Okay, that opened that up tremendously, and it's a perfect vase. And I want to cut any of these limbs that's tall. I'll cut those back too, because you want to bring the height down, and anything going in is going to get cut. And then we'll tip these branches with a bud. Whenever you tip it, like right here, that bud's going to be going down, and it'll go down even further. promote new growth out of this bottom bud for next year, and then that growth that comes out will be the 1-year-old wood for next year. That will be the fruiting wood. Try spraying this. I know that looks drastic, but it's getting the job done. Okay, let's take a look. We don't want to go too far. Alright, so you can see right here it has an open center, and anything that was pointing inward was cut out, and I topped it down in height. I don't know if you can tell with the other trees behind me, but it's got a pretty good height. There we go. It's a perfect open vase, and it's a good height. All right, y'all. So this is a newer peach tree, and I want to show you. I know it's going to look pretty drastic. My rooster's going to crow. There's a rooster several houses up, and they have a crow off like all the time. It's so funny. It's back and forth. But this is a new peach tree. So what I'm going to do is, remember, we want this as an open vase. So I'm going to do something drastic and maybe cut it, maybe like right here, which is pretty drastic, but that will keep it low, and then I can start shaping every year after into that vase, pruning and shaping. That's all I'm going to do to this one this year, is just whack that off, and let's get it done. It's pretty simple. Spray. It's going to feel drastic, but it needs to be done. Actually, you know what? Well, there we go. Has to be done. So there we go. It's a very young tree that's only been in the ground for 1 year. We've brought it down in height, and next year we'll continue to bring that down a little bit more and figure out our main trunks that we want to keep coming out from it. Before I go to the other peach tree, I'll show what I did with my apples. They all kind of have the same concept. These are espalier style, where I keep them at a short height. And I cut it down to the fruiting spurs. There. You'll see them. So you keep these at a small height, and in the middle of the summer, I'll come back and any like water, is that on the right thing? Yeah. Really fast growing stems, like say this has a one that shoots up really fast, I'll have to cut that back, you know, in the middle of the summer so it's less traumatic. But we'll keep, you'll see that, fruiting spurs. And that's the same with all these. This is just fruiting spurs. This was loaded last year. I'm not going to let this keep fruits this year, probably. If I do, very few. But because this tree, it fruited a whole lot last year, and I think that's why it didn't have a lot of growth. Hey! There's random cats people dump off out here, and the dogs bark at them. Same thing with this fruit apple tree. It's espalier. It's kept at a low height. It isn't a perfect espalier that you see, but hey, hush. You'll see I've kept these short on the main trunk coming out, and I trimmed it back to the fruiting spurs. We'll keep it that height. It'll be easy picking at my height. I know there's ropes everywhere. Once these trunks get bigger, I won't have to tie them down. They'll be, you know, once maybe 4 or 5 years from now, they'll be pretty good thick trunks, and it'll be well established. So it'd just be a matter of trimming it back in the a little bit in the late winter, and then again in the summer. Here's another one. Keep those trunks out. Like this is a perfect example. This one's already staying down low, so it's training pretty good. This one is too. It's not even tied. It's pretty much staying. That trunk will get bigger and stronger, and it will hold all these, see the fruiting spurs? That's my espalier. Okay. Now, when we go to this other peach tree, and we'll trim it back. Okay, so this is this peach tree. We'll do a quick before and after. So there's the before. Right there. You see the ones pointing straight up? Those are going to go out and make it the open vase like the other one in the backyard. So we'll come back when I get that done. Okay, that's the after. We brought it down in height. We opened up that vase in the center, and it should continue to spread out. We still have some of our 1-year-old, this lighter purplish color fruiting wood. All right, turned out pretty good. Okay, this is the last peach tree. You can see it's pretty tall. So we're going to bring that down and vase it out. We'll be back. Here's a before, and then we'll come back with an after. And here is the after. Completely brought it down in height. Opened up that vase. You can see the open center right there. And trimmed these limbs high up down to where there's a bud facing down, because that bud we want to grow out, and then I'll trim that down next year. And it will keep going out and low instead of straight up. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.